Good afternoon. Welcome to the press conference after today's ECOFIN Council. We have a pleasure to have Minister Domański and Commissioner Dombrovskis with us to continue with our tradition of learning Polish. Today we will learn very important word, money, which in Polish is pieniądze, which is somehow fitting to the ECOFIN Council. I don't know why we learned it so late. Anyhow, Minister, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. At the ECOFIN Council today, ministers have reached an agreement on a one-stop shop for VAT import for e-commerce platforms. This agreement will bring benefits to European businesses and consumers. It will facilitate smoother cross-border transactions and, most importantly, level playing field for all e-commerce suppliers and platforms from third countries. This is also, I believe, a very important step in simplifying VAT procedures, which is part of the EU efforts to make business environment friendly in Europe. Second, we had really an in-depth debate on the SAFE proposal, reflecting our commitment to strengthening Europe's defense capabilities. Today's discussion clearly indicated a very strong support among ministers for a swift conclusions of negotiations. We need to unlock €150 billion in loans for defense investments as a matter of priority. This will have a positive impact not only on the security of Europe, but also on our GDP and innovation. A strong manufacturing base is needed in the EU, and I'm really happy that the Commission proposed this, let me say, historic package of €150 billion loans, and also more flexible approach to fiscal policy in the form of national escape clause. The Polish presidency aims to adopt the regulation as soon as possible. This is our key priority. We know that it's absolutely crucial for Europe, for our security, and of course for building a strong defense industry. Third, as the permanent point on the agenda on the ECOFIN during the Polish presidency, we had long exchange on boosting competitiveness and simplification. Today we focused on savings and investment union, and especially on securitization. There is a consensus that Europe urgently needs deeper and more integrated capital markets to attract investments effectively and strengthen economic resilience. This is especially important in the current geopolitical context. Ministers expressed a clear expectation for ambitious and timely action on securitization. This will help us reinforce Europe's position as a secure and attractive investment destination. Of course, securitization is not a silver bullet, but is an important block in building savings and investment union. Furthermore, thanks to an insightful presentation by Mr. Torbjörn Becker, director of the Stockholm Institute of Transition Economics, we gained a more comprehensive understanding of the actual state of the Russian economy, which significantly differs to the picture painted by the Russian propaganda machine. These findings will inform our preparation for the 17th sanctions package, so that we target the Russian war economy in a more effective way. Finally, we formally adopted today amended recovery and resilience plans for Spain, Slovakia, Portugal, and the Netherlands. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Commissioner, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Minister. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we had a packed ECOFIN agenda, so let me present some of the outcomes. Mr. Minister already outlined the general approach reached on the VAT one-stop shop, which is certainly welcome news. We held our regular exchange on economic situation and outlook. I will touch upon this point only briefly, since the Commission will come forward with a detailed projections of the EU economy in a spring economic forecast next Monday. For now, I can say that the EU economy ended 2024 on a slightly stronger footing than expected and maintained its momentum at the beginning of the year. At the same time, without preempting a spring forecast, it is clear that the US tariff announcements and the uncertainties that they ushered in negatively affect the EU growth and investment outlook for this year. Risks also seem to be tilted to the downside. This highlights the need for EU and its member states to remain focused on taking urgent action to improve competitiveness and secure our long-term prosperity. The Commission also provided its regular update on progress with the implementation of Recovery and Resilience Facility. A total of 311.4 billion euros have been disbursed so far. The Commission is currently assessing 17 payment requests amounting to a total of 62.2 billion euros, covering 613 milestones and targets. We reminded Member States once again that the legal deadline for all milestones and targets to be met are by the end of August 2026. This means that we have some 15 months to submit all outstanding payment requests and supporting evidence. With this in mind, we highlighted two key points at today's meeting. Firstly, the need to accelerate implementation efforts and meet the set timelines to submit payment requests and produce relevant evidence. And second, Member States need to urgently review their plans and remove any measures that are no longer feasible before the RRF legal deadline. Finally, I welcome today's endorsement of the targeted revision of the Dutch, Slovak, Spanish and Portuguese recovery and resilience plans. We also held our regular exchange on the latest development related to Russia's full-scale invasion in Ukraine. Today's discussion focused on the situation of Russian economy with a presentation from Stockholm Institute of Transition Economics. Their analysis highlights the unreliability of Russian statistics and how the Russian economy is not performing as well as its official statistics suggest. The Commission broadly agrees with this analysis and the overall increasing fragility of the Russian economy. This underlines the importance of the international community's ongoing efforts to limit the Kremlin's capacity to continue its war of aggression against Ukraine. I would also like to mention that last Thursday, the Commission disbursed a further 1 billion euros under the G7 Extraordinary Revenue Acceleration Initiative. It's important to highlight that these loans are to be repaid with proceeds from immobilized Russian assets in the EU, meaning that Russia will pay for the destruction it is causing in Ukraine. This brings me to our policy debate on SAFE, a new instrument that will provide up to 150 billion euros for defense investments. In short, there remains a very broad agreement on the need for Europe to take more responsibility for its defense and security, and SAFE is an essential element of facilitating the investment needed to make this happen. With SAFE, we can spend more, faster, together and European, and also with partners if the conditions are met. Finally, a brief word on the annual economic and financial dialogue with regional partners, which took place this morning. It has never been more important for the EU to continue winning win-win partnerships around the world. This morning's meeting was an important opportunity to engage with partners on how together we can work on improving the competitiveness of Europe and in the region in view of recent geopolitical changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let's start with questions. Paola, you were first, so go ahead.
Hello, Paula Tama with the Financial Times. Minister Domański, would you be able to tell us why wasn't it possible to reach an agreement on SAFE now? There is a question of whether to allow subcontractors from third countries or not. What is the Polish presidency's view, and when are you going to put any new compromise or suggest a compromise on the table? And secondly, at the informal ECOFIN in Warsaw, you had a discussion about further defense funding beyond what was on the table, SAFE, the NEC, and so on. Is there any steps that you foresee still within your presidency mandate on that? Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, we didn't aim for the agreement today. I believe that we, as a presidency, we really act really quickly on this proposal from the European Commission. Frankly, I believe that the pace of our work shows that Europe can act really quickly, decisively when needed. And of course, there are, and I can tell you that the discussion today showed really broad consensus that SAFE is really, really needed. So of course, there are a couple of issues that we need to specify. We need to clearly adjust. Having said that, I'm really optimistic, and I do believe that we'll manage to find a consensus and finalize work on this file during Polish presidency, hopefully in May.
And other sources of financing?
Sorry?
There was a second question about other sources of financing.
Sure. For us, working on the European Commission proposal is a top priority, and we act as a presidency, as an honest broker. So for us, always the Commission proposal is top priority. This is why right now we focus on SAFE. This is why we welcome the whole rearm package as a huge step into a good direction. And right now we are absolutely focused on this proposal. Having said that, as soon as we will manage to secure SAFE, of course there will be some follow-up to our discussion in Warsaw. Also today there were some member states who were expressing their view that there is a need for some further action. So just let me be very, very clear. SAFE is our top priority, and rearm package is absolutely crucial. Having said that, there is a broad understanding that there is a need also for other instruments.
Thank you. All right, next question. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Bulgarian television, BTV. My question is for Commissioner Dombrovskis. Is there any reason for a delay in the process of Bulgaria's adoption in the Eurozone? Thank you very much.
I cannot now comment on all the domestic developments, but we had a conversation with Finance Minister Petkova together with European Central Bank and the President of the Eurogroup. So the message from Minister Petkova was very clear. So the Bulgarian government, together with National Bank of Bulgaria, have submitted the request for convergence report, and the government and National Bank are sticking with this request. Correspondingly, the European Commission and the ECB continue to work on the preparation of convergence report, and it's foreseen that we'll finalize this work in early June.
Thank you. Roland?
Thank you very much, Roland Papnipsova. I also have a question regarding SAFE. Do you expect that all member states would be eligible for such loans, or do you think that there will be, or do you expect some conditionality on rule of law or other to be included in the final text? And if so, why do you think it's important to include anything like this?
Well, so, as I said, SAFE is a crucial step for building strength of European defense industry. This 150 billion of loans is crucial in a long-term perspective, and of course, all member states are eligible. The general rule of law conditionality applies, but member states are of course eligible.
Let's stay there. Yeah? You have Thomas there.
Yeah, just in regard to the forecasts, which are due next Monday, and which have been slightly delayed. You gave quite a negative, foretaste there in your opening remarks. I was just wondering, though, if the US, China tariff ceasefire, would that not give you cause to give the forecast a bit more of an upbeat tone? And also just looking ahead to the general economic outlook in the second half of this year, what are the risks of an Eurozone recession?
Indeed. So we see those US tariffs as a factor which is negatively affecting the EU economy and the US economy itself, and also with negative global implications. By the way, also the IMF has revised downwards its world economic forecast to 2.8% growth this year. If I'm not mistaken, it was 0.5% percentage point reduction to compare with a previous world economic outlook. From the European Commission side, we broadly share this analysis. So all in all, we expect a negative economic impact. Obviously, this easing of trade tensions between US and China is heading in the right direction, but it's worth noting that the 30% tariffs which the US would continue to apply to Chinese goods also in this 90-day period is still quite high tariff level and correspondingly trade distortive. But of course it may ease somewhat the trade diversions concerns we had on also possible trade diversion towards other markets, including US market. But we will have to continue monitor all those developments very closely.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Thomas.
Thank you very much. Thomas Mandelson at Euractiv. I have two questions. So the first for Minister Domański. So regarding the safe loans, so you said there's a couple of issues that need to be addressed. Could you just elaborate on what these issues are that need to be addressed regarding the safe loan? And another question for both of you. So the finance ministers of Lithuania and Sweden this morning said that the EU should impose an 18th round of sanctions on Russia. So in addition to the 17th one, which is about to be formally agreed, do you support an 18th round of sanctions? And if so, what should these sanctions target? Thank you very much.
Good. So, as I said, we do agree on vast majority of issues. There are some countries who would prefer to have slightly more flexibility. Some countries who think that the flexibility that is proposed right now is enough. There is also a discussion about time frame, but actually I believe that there are no major outstanding issues. So I do really believe that we can achieve this compromise this month, already in May.
On this second question, also our today's discussion on Russia's economic outlook shows that Prospects of Russia's economy are very closely linked to their hydrocarbon exports, and correspondingly the most effective way of reducing the revenue flow for Russia's war machine is exactly limiting its fossil energy exports. And on this, that was the focus also on a previous sanctions package, including substantially expanding the number of shadow fleet vessels which are subjected to the sanctions, and in this same direction also the recent European Commission initiative goes concerning the phasing out Russian natural gas supplies to the EU. And obviously from the Commission side we are ready to work to continue putting pressure against aggressor Russia, both in terms of new sanctions, but also in terms of stronger implementation and fight against circumvention of existing sanctions, which is important focus given that 17 sanctions packages are already in place.
Go ahead, just behind you there is a colleague. Thank you.
Thanks. Janusz Allenbach-Ammann from Table Media. I have a question to both the Minister and the Commissioner regarding the Savings and Investment Union. You said previously that there is a lot of expectations for swift progress on the securitization file, and I think we will see this in June, if I'm not mistaken. But that's quite a small part of this SIU, right? Is there any other concrete step that can be taken that you see there is appetite for among a lot of ministers that how the Savings and Investment Union could be pushed fast in the next months, and maybe also considering the new German government? Thanks.
First, let's focus on securitization. And this is the file that we are waiting for quite a long. We are expecting this to be presented in the first quarter, then in the beginning of April. Now it seems that it will be presented in mid-June. So frankly, there will be not too much time for Polish presidency to work over that. And well, it was our priority, one of our priorities to focus on securitization. Having said that, today it was really clear that countries, that member states, expect this to be presented by Commission as soon as possible, and also that we would like to see an ambitious proposal. I believe that, as I said, it's not a silver bullet. It will not create, it will not save us from all problems with our capital markets, but it's an important step into a good direction. So this is why we are encouraging Commission to present this proposal, and of course Denmark is also willing to work over that.
All right. Yes, please, go ahead. And then... Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, Fanny Hu with MLEX. Short question for you, Mr. Domański. What are the chances that you will stop working on the retail investment strategy? Thanks.
Well, we gave retail investment strategy a fair try. As an honest broker, as a presidency, we believe that if there is a proposal, we should work over that. We are not particularly happy with the progress that we have achieved so far on this file. We believe that there is a need for simplification of and getting regulatory burden in this field, and we don't think that it's the proposition that we have received is going into this direction. So there is of course still a discussion, and we are eager to work further on that. but we are, let me put it this way, we are expecting something else.
Well, if I may, just a few general points here. Well, in general, there is a broad consensus on the need and importance of capital markets union and savings and investments union and willingness to move forward. But then, as also our today's discussion show, that devil is often in detail. Therefore, from the Commission side, we already announced our new savings and investments union strategy, and we will obviously be following it up with ambitious proposals. And we also welcome the work of Polish Presidency and Council on the proposals which are already on the table. And from the Commission side, we will certainly do our utmost to advance this agenda. We think it's important for the EU's competitiveness and for the financing of European economy.
Thank you. Tatiana, please.
Thank you. Tatiana Vysotska, European Pravda, Ukraine. My question is, I want to bring back the attention to the state of Russian economy. My question is for both Commissioner and Minister. After the discussion, what are the main conclusions that you made? You partly answered that the Russian economy is not so strong as Russian propaganda wants to say. But what are your conclusions, and how European Union can beat Russian economy harder with sanctions, and when? Because 17th package is not so big, and it's already almost reached a deal what will be in this sanction package. So these new ideas which you have after today's discussion, it will be in 18th package, and when you will start to discuss it?
So maybe I'll start. So first of all, the aim of the discussion today, and the reason that we decided to invite Professor Becker was to get rid of the myth that Russian economy is doing fine. It's not. We know that the inflation is way higher than official data present. We know that the growing share of the Russian budget is financed from taxes, not from proceeds from oil or gas. And that's important because if you know that Russian economy is getting weaker, you know that sanctions work, and then of course it can encourage for further actions if needed. So I believe that it was really valuable presentation of Professor Becker, and I'd like to thank Sweden for this. For this presentation. Our goal is clear: the aggressor must pay, and we are all, and it's absolutely clear from all of our meetings that ministers of finance are really determined to do more if needed.
I fully agree with all what Minister said. Just to complement a few things. Well, once again, indeed, the emphasis was that the main source of Russia's revenues is fossil fuel exports, so that's probably then the area to focus, and we have already long since banned the import of Russian coal. We can impose, together with G7 partners, a price cap on Russian oil, and also working against Russia circumventing this price cap with the help of shadow fleet and so on. We also, as European Commission, presented a strategy for Europe to phase out Russian natural gas supplies, so cutting Russia off this revenue. Of course, we also note that while the EU has been phasing out Russian fossil fuels, Russia has been finding other consumers, but it's also worth noting that those consumers are paying substantially less what Europe used to be pay, so it's still important we maintain this pressure. Well, as I was mentioning, from European Commission side, we are certainly ready to continue to put pressure on Russia, including by working on new sanctions.
Thank you. There is a question from Angela in the back.
Angela Scugins from TVP World. You've spoken about sanctions, and this really relies on the unanimous support from all of the 27 EU member states. But what happens if one member state in particular does not support this? Was there discussion today regarding other options on the table, such as capital controls or tariffs applied to Russia, so this would allow the EU to circumvent that unanimous support? I'm just curious if that was discussed today and what the appetite is from both Poland and the European Commission to explore this. Thank you.
Right, of course, it's clear that all countries need to agree to another package of sanctions. But my perception is that willingness to act is actually growing among member states, and more and more often we are discussing the issue of frozen Russian assets. Again, I would be rather optimistic here.
Well, in any case, we need to continue to explore all options as regards specifically tariffs. One of the decisions we have taken early on in the war was to remove the most favored nation status from Russia, and correspondingly having this possibility to put higher tariffs on Russia, as we had already done for a number of goods, including agricultural goods, covering bulk of the Russia's trade in agricultural goods vis-à-vis EU, just to give one example. Also, when we are now discussing this initiative of phasing out Russian fossil fuels, it's also Russian natural gas. It's also using other legislative legal bases than sanctions. So indeed we are exploring all options. And on sanctions, indeed those are difficult discussions, but so far we were able to agree on a large number of sanctions packages, and basically putting unprecedented level of sanctions also through this unanimity procedure. So we need to have all the tools and all options on the table.
So let me just add that this fear that one country could block it, can block a sanction, is not a new one. It's actually with each sanction package that we have adopted, there was such a question, and we managed to do that. We managed to adopt successive packages of sanctions. Also, the 17th package was, I believe, really well received by member states, and this is also why I'm optimistic that if needed, we are ready to act.
There's the last question. David.
Thank you. David Carretta, Radio Radicale Italian Radio. I'm here. Since you are mentioning this issue and Russian frozen asset, the sanction, all the packages should be, the sectorial sanction should be renewed at the end of July, and one country could put a veto on the renewal. Have you started a discussion with your colleagues to avoid a scenario which would be catastrophic for the European Union, basically the transfer of Russian asset to Russia? Thank you.
You take it?
Yes, well, on this, well, first it's worth noting that we do not have this kind of in-depth discussions on sanctions in ECOFIN, since ECOFIN is not the council dealing with this issue. But on the question of Russian assets, it's worth noting that immobilized Russian assets right now are also underpinning the G7 loans initiative, and it's actually the proceeds from these immobilized Russian assets which are being used to repay the loans which are provided under G7 era loans to Ukraine. So clearly any actions concerning Russian immobilized state assets have to take this important factor into account. But as the Minister already outlined, indeed, sanctions is unanimity. So far, we have been always be able to reach this unanimity, and that remains the intention also going forward.
Thank you very much. That concludes this conference. Minister, Commissioner, thank you very much. Dziękuję I do widzenia.
Thank you.
Thank you.